There have been numerous complaints about the color of water that runs out of the taps of Mulonga Water and Sewerage Company. The color of water is most of the time brown early in the morning, and for a customer to get clear water, one has to allow the tap to run for a few seconds. Realizing that customers can be misinformed about the color of water, Mulonga recently organized a media tour with the mass communicating experts, the journalists, to help the water utility firm explain to its customers about this predicament.
Today, our focus is just to look at the water quality issues. This comes in the wake of some of the complaints that our customers have been raising, and also concerns that the water that we are giving out as Mulonga is not safe. So the purpose of this tour is for us to give you an overview or highlight the issues that are concerned in as much as water supply is. So where we are is the Kafue water treatment plant. We'll be able to take you through the processes.
And the process begins at the water intake in Kafue.
Kafue River being an example of surface water, naturally you find that the water is not fit for consumption as it is, because the raw water is subjected to a lot of pollution. And I wish to mention that because of human activities upstream within the catchment area of Kafue, that's why we get these problems of pollution. For example, you can see the silt which has gathered around our intake here. This silt problem made Mulonga Water and Sewerage Company to abandon its original intake of this treatment plant. You may wish to know that the original intake, the water used to enter into the water sump into this building through where that anchorage is of the cantilevered bridge. But because of the silting which was accumulating into here, it used to find its way into the water sump. So the water sump got choked, and because of the choking of the water sump with the silt and sand, then we experienced a lot of breakdowns in terms of our operations, our pumps.
The company depends on raw water from Kafue River as its main source of raw water, though at times it treats water from underground mining. The company director of technical, Ruben Kaira, says raw water from Kafue River remains the surface so far.
The other part is underground water, but we regard this one as the safest in terms of pollution levels. Yeah, but at times we have pollution coming from the mines discharge. If they miss to control their effluents, then it ends up coming to the Kafue River. But at the moment, as you can see, it's okay. And as we go into the rain season, we have a lot of dumping around, So the washing away of these dumps also contributes to the pollution levels in the Kafue. But as far as we are concerned, this is the cleanest source of water that we have.
The treating process continues.
Produced into the filter bed, it passes through the filtering media, which is the sand. Now, the filter bed is about 1.5 meters deep, of which 1 meter is filtering media, which consists of coarse sand, medium sand, and fine sand. So the total composition is 1 meter from the bottom of each filter bed. Meaning, the water when it's introduced, the clarified water when it's introduced into these filters, it has to percolate through 1 meter thickness of filtering media of sand, as I mentioned earlier, between the spaces of the sandy grains. As it does so, all the suspended particles, whether they are found there naturally or they are there due to chemical reaction, are supported to be seconds of raw water before it leaves to the next stage. So, because of the size of the sandy grains, during that retention time, the sandy grains and the silt are able to settle down into that sand trap without adding any chemicals. That is what we call plain sedimentation. Then after that, the water goes to the next component, which is the premixer or the repartition box. Now at the repartition box, it is at that juncture where there are two green tanks, as you can see. One of the tanks is the one we use for dosing aluminum sulfate solution. Then the other one is meant to dose lime. So in other words, at the premixer or the repartition box, that's where we start adding in water treatment chemicals. So I've already talked about aluminum sulfate. We also add lime periodically, not continuously, while aluminum sulfate is added continuously, depending on how much turbidity is there in the raw water. Then we also have another chemical which is added there, which is chlorine. Now chlorine, which is added at the premixer, is called pre-chlorination. So all the suspended particles who have to settle down into here to form a sludge blanket which is collected at the bottom down there. So much that clear water will rise at the top, because the raw water transmission from the premixer is down at the bottom here, and the clear water will rise on top. Then these launders which you are seeing on top of this clarifier are the ones which are responsible to carry over to the filters clarified water, or that water which has been separated.
Terminology sounds interesting so far. The pre and post treatment is satisfying to buy in. At this point, all chemicals have been added and water is clear and good for consumption.
We follow very strictly these standards which are set by our Zambian government through Zambia Bureau of Standards.
But as far as we are concerned, what we are treating is almost what we are drinking from this mineral water.
But at what time does the turbidity or brownness appear in water?
We have discharges from the mines. You know, in a soluble state, you can't see any problem. So as the iron and manganese gets oxidized, the water tends to change its color. And those are the complaints that we have at times in the compounds. Yeah, it may look clean as it is. In a soluble state, iron and the manganese is okay. But as it is exposed to the air, atmosphere, it gets oxidized, you know, through the addition of oxygen, and it changes color. That's the problem that we have at times.
Does it have any effect?
Not necessarily, but it has just some what I may call aesthetical, you know, problems. If the water is discolored, people don't like it. But in terms of health effect, it has nothing. It's just the color and also the staining of clothes, you know, white clothes. You wash them, you find that it's not as white as you may like it. Yeah, those are the problems that we face with the manganese and iron.
So at what point do you think it is oxidized? Where does the oxygen come in? Is it
especially now when, you know, as you can see, the water is being in contact with the atmosphere. So oxygen now is getting into the water. So if there is iron and manganese, it will get oxidized and change its color and gets into insoluble states.
And Mulonga has an appeal to its customers.
I would like to make an appeal to our customers in Mfulira, Chingola and Chirilabombwe. The appeal is that Mulonga Water and Sewerage Company is their company. It is there to give them a service. We appeal to them to support it so that we can continue to give them a service as Mulonga.
Pumping, treating and supplying water is an expensive business, but Mulonga is determined to live by its motto, Mulonga towards purified water. Elizabeth Petrish, TIO News in Chingola.